Robert Jordan's 15-book series has captivated millions of fantasy lovers over the years, but some alterations are unavoidable in an 8-season television adaptation. In today's video, we'll talk about the distinctions between the books and the current television show based on The Wheel of Time. What are some of the numerous viewpoints on how the dragon is reborn? Stay tuned. Firstly, Perrin got married. Yes, but only for a short time. Layla, Helena Westerman, Perrin's wife, is a new character who swiftly becomes a new corpse in one of the show's most pointless page-to-screen transitions. Layla's marriage to Perrin is clearly strained when we first meet her. When the Trollocs attack, Perrin accidentally murders her before we can gain any further information or even a smidgen of resolve. Her death is a typical example of fridging, in which a female character exists primarily to die or suffer in order to advance the emotional arc of a more significant character. It's a cheap ploy that might have been avoided with ease. Perrin could have had a strong emotional response to literally anything else, like, I don't know, his home being burned, or Nynaeve being kidnapped. Next, the show sets its own pace. Moiraine and her company of possible chosen ones have already arrived at Shadar Logoth at the end of episode 2, indicating the group's first impending split. This occurs around a third of the way through the first novel, The Eye of the World, and given the show's current pace, some of Book 2, The Great Hunt, might easily be incorporated if wanted. For the sake of continuous storytelling, it wouldn't be shocking if some of the first book ended up in Season 2 or elsewhere, based on specific casting choices and storyline divergences. After all, the show is based on a book series in which one key character is absent for an entire volume. Also, with 14 books to adapt, it's only reasonable for the show to abandon the Game of Thrones strategy of one book per season. So far, the plot's changes and speed have been important. It saves viewers from having to watch the protagonists spend too much time moving from one landmark to the next. Now, goodbye Baerlon. Baerlon has been fully erased from the Wheel of Time, making it the first of many stops on our group's journey to Tar Valon. Because so much of the Eye of the World is just the gang going about, it's understandable that some of those scenes were deleted. As a result, we're missing out on some critical interactions, such as the aforementioned Nynaeve reunion. Furthermore, the sinister Padan Fane, Johann Myers, appears to have been reduced to a single appearance so far. We also miss out on meeting Min, whose extraordinary ability to sense people's auras provides important clues regarding the dragon's identity. Given that Kai Alexander has been cast in the film, we're sure to see Min at some point. Will we miss this character, or do you think the show will still be just as good without them? Now, let's talk about how the Wheel of Time's setting is more apparent. The plot of the Wheel of Time takes place in a post-apocalyptic future. The locale and timeline are hinted at in the novels, but it's an easy element for readers to overlook. The TV show, on the other hand, makes the setting quite evident. Because of the way the novels depict the cyclical structure of time, the plot never felt like it fit into a traditional linear timetable. In the first episode, the camera sweeps the Earth and portrays damaged cities, implying a devastating disaster. The ages refer to time's cyclical structure, and the story plays with the idea of reincarnation, as humans tend to be reborn in each new age throughout history. As a result, the quest for the dragon reincarnate, a man or woman capable of either saving or destroying the world, lies at the heart of the Wheel of Time's plot. Next, we look into Mordeth and Massadar. The Shadar Logoth storyline in Episode 2, Shadows Waiting, differs slightly from the books, although the basic beats stay the same. The history of the abandoned city is revealed to us. Mat takes a ruby-hilted knife, and Massadar, a shadowy figure, splits the party as they flee. Mat, Rand, and Perrin meet a mysterious guy named Mordeth in the Eye of the World, who tries to persuade persuade them to move some treasure for him. He assaults them afterwards, only to retreat when he notices Mat has seized the dagger. Although this is different to the books, it's still an interesting storyline that we can enjoy watching. And the main characters are older. Rand, Mat, Perrin, and Egwene are in their late teens in the novels, but the program ages them up to their early 20s. Rafe Judkins, the showrunner, told Decider that he didn't want the show to seem like a young adult series. Aside from providing for more complex character backstories due to their age, aging up the characters a few years doesn't make much of a difference. However, this takes us to the show's most major alteration to date. Now we have Thom Merrilin in A Place of Safety, the third episode of The Wheel of Time. We meet intriguing gleeman Thom Merrilin, Alexander Willome. In The Eye of the World, Jordan introduces Thom much earlier. He arrives at the Two Rivers as part of the Beltane Festival's entertainment and stays with the gang after the attack. He also tells Rand, Mat, and Perrin that they should keep their strange dreams hidden from Moiraine. He flees with Rand and Mat after the gang divides up at Shadar Logoth. So by introducing him now, we'll still be able to watch how these three interact. It also means that in the early episodes, we had one less character to remember. Now that we've gotten to know our 7 main characters, we can focus on getting to know the supporting cast. Next up, one character gets a new and rather controversial backstory. If there's one thing the characters have changed, it's their backstories. Many of them get better developed relationships or family drama as a result of the show. However, it is with Perrin, our gentle behemoth of a character, that we truly depart from the source material. He wasn't married in the first book, but he does have a wife in the adaptation, whom he inadvertently murders with his axe in the first episode while fighting Trollocs. In the same interview with Decider, Judkins explained that he regarded this as a necessary adjustment in order to portray how the people would have grown attached to their home, making leaving more difficult. This is a perplexing adjustment for lovers of the novel. Regardless of how the producers are manipulating the plot, it can't help but feel like it falls into the category of fridging, which is the practice of dying off a female character in order to provide incentive for the male partner. It succeeded as a visceral moment of stunning brutality, but it felt superfluous and ill thought out in a series that has done well in developing better female characters thus far. Now that we've discussed a range of differences between the Wheel of Time books to the television show, it's now time to talk about the two we mentioned at the start of the video, like how the dragon is reborn and how they alter the identity of the dragon, as well as the different perspectives from the show to the books. Stay tuned to hear all about these differences between the show and the original books. Next, the Dragon Reborn. The first episode, Leavetaking, begins with a voiceover that quickly changes something about the Dragon Reborn's core person. Moiraine tells that the dragon was originally a man named Lews Therin Telamon, but no one knows whether he was reincarnated as a man or a woman. There is no doubt in the literature that the dragon is correctly thought to be a man. I suspect that the Wheel of Time would alter the dragon's identity, as this would have far-reaching consequences. All this variation from the novel does is add to the mystery of who the dragon could be by bringing in women like Egwene and Nynaeve, which I don't mind at all. Now, the different perspectives. The majority of The Eye of the World is recounted through the eyes of shephherder Rand, Josha Stradowski, making it clear that he is the protagonist, aka the dragon. The Wheel of Time places Moiraine as our protagonist, at least for the first few episodes, to keep us guessing. This decision allows us to gain a greater understanding of the stakes of her mission. We learn more about the lives of other characters in the Two Rivers by not focusing primarily on Rand. We get to see Egwene's admission into the women's circle, something Rand would not have been able to tell us about. Mat's, Barney Harris, problematic home life is also explored, as is Perrin's, Marcus Rutherford. Rutherford's connection with his wife. There you have it, a range of differences between the original books to the Wheel of Time to the current television show that is out. It's clear there are some major differences and some alterations that have been made from the books to the TV show. Leave us a comment down below whether you preferred the books or the show, if you've seen and read them both, and what some major differences were that you noticed. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and thanks for watching!